driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Just doing a little bit of sharing here. Got a lot of meowing kitties. God, everything is so slow. We'll keep this one in the trudging together family until this afternoon. This afternoon is this afternoon. Until later today, because I got something new today, which is here. You guys want to open this with me? Well, it's gonna happen. So. It's for my podcasting, which includes this. All right. Okay, we got through one box. All right, that's a lot of tape. That's a lot of tape. And I want to open this up correctly. So. Looks like it does it from here. We're getting there. See, I'm just wasting time for people to get on. All right, we're getting closer. Now we got things on the sides. There it is. What we're trying to get to. Dion's new laptop computer. It's my new podcast computer. For internet, sweet. All right, so yay for me. So glad people could stick around. So let's kind of get started. I don't think people are as happy about this as I am. That's all right. That's all right. You're not required to. Oh, I hope these aren't the ones that. Oh, they are. They started making ones that don't pop. Right? Just don't do that. All right. Must be Saturday. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion. Today's reading is out of the, the daily reflections and stuff. They were being language of the heart, I think is what we're going to end up being. AA Comes of Age. I happen to have that book also. So, AA Comes of Age. Where are you? All the way at the bottom. All the way at the bottom. There we are. And we're going to be on page 234 in AA Comes of Age. $234. I bet it kind of just goes to it because I don't open this book very often. All right. So personal sacrifice. Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a big. Oh, I'm not going to anything that says personal sacrifice. I don't want to agree with that. I'm kidding. Kidding. Phew. Didn't work. All right. Let's get started. I'm going to start on 233 at the bottom. I have no idea what it's talking about. So, with the most heartfelt gratitude, I can report that we never had yet to endure any such trials by fire in AA. In all the 20 marvelous years, no such thing as religious or political dissension has touched us. Very few have tried to exploit AA for wealth or fame or personal power. We've had great problems, but they've always been resolved. Never has a grave issue cut across and scarred the face of this far-flung fellowship. It still happens that way. I see very few of this actually happening, and there's a lot of political discourse right now. A lot. That was created. Oh, it was created. It was made. That was manufactured. You know. And we don't talk about politics here. And I don't get into religion. Tell you, I don't know that I know enough. I don't know that I know enough to argue with you anyway. Right? So, you know, we just don't get into these things. Hey, Michael, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Been watching you travel. Watching you travel. Looks kind of fun, man. Good for you. Look like you're, out there living life, and it's cool shit, man. I'm happy for you. I hope I'm talking about the right person. My dyslexia tends to mix people up, so, but I think I'm right. So, but again, this is no earned virtue of ours. Too many of us in our drinking days have suffered the terrible penalties of proud and angry pursuits to forget them now. Angry. And there's that anger again. These very pains have the beginning of whatever wisdom we have since incorporated into AA's 12 tradition. Hence, I feel confident that these forces of destructions will never rule among us. We are prepared to pay the price for peace. I like that line. I am prepared to pay the price for peace. What is the price? It's the sacrifice that we're getting ready to talk about. Okay? Now, this is a great way let's talk about the Thursday meeting and it being so slow. And okay, now I brought up in my because I was a little distraught, and I'm like, maybe I should give up the upstairs, and some people are agreeing, but I didn't think it was very fair of them to just go ahead and agree. See, I have sacrificed a lot to earn that space, a lot of my own personal time, and I feel like it's mine. I feel selfish about it. Without it, nobody would have. Without If I wouldn't have done what I did, nobody would be meeting right now. There wouldn't be any Al-Anon. There wouldn't be anything. I'm the one that went. I'm the one that showed up every week after week, with nobody else there. I'm the one that went to the events. I did all that. So why should I give up my big room? Feeling selfish about that. Feeling selfish about that. Hence, I feel confident. Okay, we will make every personal sacrifice necessary to ensure the unity of Alcoholics Anonymous. We will do this because we have learned to love God and one another. Okay, now let me tell you, that doesn't mean that God's going to come down and ask you to give up everything. No, you need to be willing. You need to be willing, right? Live and these are bad mix. So are pins. Pins are a bad mix. Whenever I do a podcast, I'm like, do you have any pins near you? They're like, yeah, there's one right here. I'm like, put it away. You won't even know you're doing it either. Right. So your sacrifice is going to be, you know, time mostly. I talk about that a lot too, that it's mostly going to be time. Okay. Now, we alcoholics tend to go to the extreme, right? Where we think, well, I'm not willing to give up everything. Well, you better be. You're very willing. It's not going to happen. I mean, I don't know. A lot of homeless people out there that believe in God. You willing to give up your home for the recovery of others? Are you? I don't know that I am. Answer is yes. I've lived on the streets before. See, I can say that because God's not going to do that to me. The only time I end up on the streets is when I'm doing what I'm not supposed to be doing. Okay? That's when that happens. It's the consequence. It's sure. That's the thing about our consequences. They're sure and swift. Okay? There's no you're not going to be told beforehand. There's no warning. Sure and swift. Soon as you make the decision to lie, to be dishonest, to manipulate, your life immediately will change. It'll go right back to the way it was. And then you're going to have to do a little bit of work to put it back on track. See, we alcoholics are weird that way, where without us being reminded and stuff, we will go back. That's why the meetings are important. We need to see other people on a daily basis so that we know that we're on the right track. Well, I don't want to compare. Well, you can't help it. So just do it the right way. Then just do it. There's a right way to compare. Okay. But it doesn't have anything to do with the way that you can compare is by taking a look at somebody and seeing if there's anything that they have that you want. That's how you do it. Okay. Now, why am I not doing it the other way? Because that's automatic for me. See, sometimes my brain will see somebody doing something that I don't like, which means there's a good chance I'm doing it too. We call it the spot it, you got it. And even to this day, I will get in a mood and I will see somebody else in the same mood and I'll be like, oh, because usually I'm like, that doesn't usually disturb me. That usually doesn't bother me, right? But today it did. Oh, okay. Okay. This is where time doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. Not all the bad shit's going to happen at the very beginning of your sobriety. It's not life. It's not going to work that way. Right? As these beginnings began on a theme of gratitude, so they should end. We give thanks to our Heavenly Father, who, through so many of our friends and through so many means and channels, has allowed us to construct this wonderful edifice of the Spirit which we are now dwelling. You know, I'm so fucking grateful for all the people that came before me that tried this, that tried that, and failed, and then sat down and wrote it out for me to read so I didn't do it again. Do you see this? The personal sacrifice that the first 100 were willing to give to help other people get and stay sober. Okay. Now, can a person get sober with nothing? Yes, they can. I've done it. I did it when I was 18. I had no home. I had no clothes. I had what I was wearing, which was a pair of jeans, a sleeveless Iron Maiden T-shirt, and a leather jacket. That's what I had. And when I got sober on March 16th, it was fucking cold. I didn't have a hat. I have any gloves. Right? Now, I happen to be a housing first person. It's just how I'm gonna look for housing. You're gonna do that before you sober them up? Well, I might. Depends. Are they sober or not now? Why? Because I know that their odds for getting and staying sober are going to go way up. So why not provide something? But if we can't do it, it is not a necessity. On its great floor, 200,000 of us are now sustained in peace, and long since we have described in thereon our 12 steps of recovery. The older ones among us, have seen the side walls of this cathedral going up, and one by one they have seen the buttresses of AA tradition set in its place to contain us in unity for so long as God may will it so. And now eager hearts and hands have lifted up. And now the eager hearts and hands have lifted up the spire of our cathedral into its place. That spire bears the name of service. May it ever point straight upward to God, toward God. Big difference there. Toward is much different. Toward requires some action. Okay. Um, you know, you're going to do things like plant trees in which you will never be able to sit in the shade of. You're doing that for other people. You're going to do some things you'll never see the darn result. It's not for you to see, whether you put it together or not. Think of the first 100. They're not here. Maybe they're here in spirit, not sure. Okay. So, you know, the the paradox of giving away who you are to become a whole person. It's it's simple to look at, that it's not easy. It's not easy for anyone to stop in their lives, in the midst of their lives, with everything going on, to stop and say, hey, everyone, I have to stop because I need to make some changes. That at least deserves a little bit of respect. Especially for men, because well, I don't know because I'm not female, so I don't know, but I kind of feel like as men, when it comes to emotional sobriety, we have an extra hurdle. There's a stigma about how men should act and things like this. You know, I gotta tell you, I get angry quite often. It happens all the time. I'll drop something, right? I just dropped a cup. Now, I didn't necessarily get angry. I didn't get mad, but it gets a little frustrating, right? And as a person in recovery, that is an energy. And when I give thought to that energy, it's going to give me endorphins, which is not necessarily a good thing in this situation. Okay. So I need to take that energy and put it somewhere. And that's what I do with my anger. I take that energy and I put it somewhere else. Like I take that energy and put it towards going live, or I'll clean something, or I'll do something with that energy. Or what'll happen is I'll have that excess energy of anger. We don't want to pile up that anger, because especially if you're one of those guys that's really kind. Okay, I'm a pretty kind person. Hey, Gary here, he's a pretty kind person. I've known Gary for a while. Michael, I know well enough to say he's a cool dude, man. Okay, don't know you well enough to talk for you though. Well, I'd say he is, but nobody comes here and listens to me and doesn't do that, right? Push me too far, and I'll just bloop, I'll just open my can of anger and whoop ass, and you're gonna get the brunt of it. So be very careful on how you treat people. Be very, very careful. Okay. There was a guy that they're looking for right now in my area that's running around shooting people for giving them the finger for road rage. Okay. Be especially careful in the car. Be careful who you piss off anymore, man. Okay. It's not okay to just release that anger on people that we don't know. That can become a very dangerous situation. Go chop a fucking tree or something. Go punch a pillow if that's what you need to do. I had to do that in the beginning. I would scream into pillows. I would punch pillows. Why? Because they're soft. I don't get hurt. Nobody gets hurt. Okay. When I release that anger, I got to do it in a way where it doesn't hurt other people. Now, you might find somebody that's in the beginning, I needed somebody that was willing to listen to me fucking just go off and not care what I said, because honestly, none of it fucking mattered. I just needed it off my chest. It was all bullshit. I don't need to do that anymore because I don't let it in. I don't let it in. Okay. So I'm willing to do pretty much anything to keep AA alive. Yes. Because what about all the people that haven't been born yet that are going to be alcoholic? What about my own children? I don't know if some of my grandchildren may have my disease, man. And I want AA to be there for them. I want Al-Anon, I want Alateen, I want God, I want spirituality there for them. Okay? And they watch me. They know what I do. All my grandkids know that grandpa's job is to help other people. That's about all they know. Right? I forgot to plug in my my camera has a microphone on it, but this is my other microphone. You guys weren't here yet for the opening. Nobody was here. But here's my new podcasting computer. Yay. Yay. Need it. I need this. This computer is dying. And now, this was so funny. I told Shannon, I said, now what I can do is I can podcast wherever I go. She said, but will you? And I said, no. No, but I can. All right. Very good chance I'll be back later. So, Michael, I'm glad you're home. I'm glad you're home. But, sometimes we got to go out and explore the world, get a little fucking uncomfortable. Pain, they say, is the touchstone of all change. But, it's not a requirement. When you change there's been times when I'm like, oh man, I am comfortable in my sobriety. I better do something to disrupt it. Yeah. I do not get comfortable in my sobriety. Mm-mm. Now, that doesn't mean I go around making myself uncomfortable, but there's a difference between uh, taking time or resting on my laurels and serenity. There's a big difference between those two. So sometimes people get them confused, though. Okay. I feel, it's when we feel satisfied. That's I feel satisfied about myself. Time for some change. Right? All right. I love you. Thanks for being here, Gary, Michael. It was Boys' Day. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Not very often it's all men. That it's all, well, I don't know if that actually was true because half the time shit don't work. So I love you. Peace out.